David Kato was born in 1964 in the Mukono district located in Uganda. Known for being the first openly gay man in Uganda, he decided to dedicate his life to the gay rights movement. This is his story.
The law of the land is very clear. Homosexuality is illegal.
The section of the Penal Code provides for life sentence.
Any person who has carnal knowledge of any person against the order of nature is liable to imprisonment for life.
95% of the population does not support homosexuality.
Politicians now, they are fueling homophobia in people. They're going to begin killing us and just hitting us out here.
God's law is that homosexuality is sin. And God's law is always clear that the wages of sin is death.
Uganda is a country in East Central Africa with a population of nearly 46 million people, where the predominant religions are Christianity, followed by Islam. This particular country has unfortunately been known on an international scale for the multiple violations of human rights, especially when it comes to same-sex attracted individuals. In 2006, the infamous newspaper Red Pepper, created on the 19th June 2001, published a list of men who were suspected to be gay. Personal details were given, such as their addresses, some physical descriptions, and their work, which the obvious intent was to initiate a witch hunt against the alleged gay men. The same tactic was used for women who were suspected to be lesbians. In 2009, David Bahati, a member of the Ugandan parliament, introduced a, I quote, anti-homosexuality bill. The central objectives are the following: to protect the traditional family structure, also known as the nuclear family, to eliminate the promotion of same-sex relations in public spaces, to preserve the religious traditions and the values within the Ugandan culture, to save the Ugandan youth from sexual abuse and deviant practices induced by cultural changes and the will of same-sex couples to adopt and raise children.
In 2009, the Ndora West Member of Parliament tabled the anti-homosexuality bill as a private member's bill. Back then, the youthful legislator, who was serving his first term in Parliament, introduced a bill that received wide acclaim locally, but serious condemnation internationally. David Bahati's name is now etched in Uganda's history books for introducing a bill which scores of Ugandans have been agitating for. But what prompted this man, who just a few years ago was a little-known accountant, to come up with the bill?
We met with children who had been recruited into homosexuality, people who were in Pampas, who had lost their self-esteem because of this. There was abundant promotion of homosexuality in our country. A lot of outcry from different groups in our country about this issue.
The bill distinguished two crimes that could have been committed. On one hand, it included the offense of homosexuality, a broad term to describe any attempt to promote or engage in sexual acts with a member of the same sex. While, on the other hand, aggravated homosexuality implies sexual acts between two persons of the same sex, in which one of them is either a minor, disabled, or HIV positive. In the first chapter, called Interpretation, the Parliament attempts to specify the keywords of the bill. While some seem to be correctly defined, other keywords are completely contradictory to one another and reflect the lack of basic understanding of what they call a national threat. From 1981 to 1987, David attended the King's College Budo in Wakizo District, a secondary school founded by the Church Mission Society, a British society that aims to propagate Christian values around the world, especially in poor countries. Afterwards, he graduated from the Kombugo University in the Institute of Teacher Education. For a few years, David was teaching in different schools in Uganda, and decided to expand his horizon by traveling to Johannesburg in South Africa. Opening his eyes to the growing liberty that the gay community had in this country, following the apartheid era, he came back to Uganda in 1998.
When I left Uganda, that's 1992, I didn't understand what I wanted to know about my sexuality. I was confused. So when I go to South Africa, I'm staying at YMCA. I see these men on the street. I asked these ladies in the hotel, what are these men doing? They are selling gold, diamond. Others are selling themselves. I said, but I see men picking men. Here men buy other men. I said, for what? I said, and I've always wanted men, so I went the street. Interesting story you're going to hear. I get on the street now, and I paid so much money, of course, I didn't know the exchange rate. So when he said, you, it's like you're really gay. But me, I'm not. Me, I'm here looking for money. On Sunday, you shouldn't talk to me. I'm with my wife and children. We'll go to church. So he directed me to bars. Ooh, when I entered, all the eyes were on me. I was young, I was sailing, I was so nice. Not that I'm old now. Everyone wanted to come to me. But I feared what these men want from me. So a few minutes, the guy who directed me to the bar, he came and said, no, my brother, come. Meet David, my friend from Uganda. They all come to me. I go with the man. He has a big bed. You know, without poverty in Uganda, I've never seen such a bed. So I sleep like a kid this side. He said, no, don't come close to me. And I ran crazy. It was my first time. It's when I opened my eyes at 28.
Aware of his own sexuality, David got involved in gay rights activism, mainly underground for obvious safety reasons. He then became the advocacy and litigation officer of SMUG, Sexual Minorities Uganda, a non-governmental organization established in the capital of Uganda and founded by Victor Mukaza, a trans-identified woman, and Sylvia Tamale, a human rights activist. On November 2009, when David Bahati presented the anti-homosexuality bill, David Kato expressed his opposition during a United Nations-funded conference, alerting about the situation of sexual minorities in Uganda. According to WikiLeaks, the members of the Uganda Human Rights Commission openly joked and snickered during the speech. At that time, a rumor was spreading about David Bahati apparently ordering the Inspector General of Police to arrest David as soon as possible. This event led to David and other members of the SMUG organization to leave the conference quicker than expected. However, on October 2010, a turning point in his life will appear with the publication of a new article from Rolling Stones, an Ugandan newspaper whose managing editor is Giles Mohammed. Pointing to the face of David Kato and using the same patterns as red pepper, he listed the names, pictures, and addresses of several gay men and lesbians, with a banner that states, "Hang them."
I work with the Rolling Stone newspaper as the managing editor. We wanted to appeal to the youth, so we gave it bright colors. We made it look like a tabloid, but it's a newspaper. The recent one we sold 95%. I think Ugandans are interested in looking at pictures of homosexuals. Yes, this is the one that called for hang them here. We are quoting a church leader who called for the hanging of homosexuals. So we are not telling people to hang. No, in Uganda, people do not hang their fellow. It's government that does that. Here, this is a lesbian. Even this one, I don't think he can come out and say he's not gay.
On the 3rd of January 2011, the High Court Justice Musoke Kibuka ruled that the Rolling Stones publications constituted a violation of privacy and human dignity. The court then ordered Rolling Stones to indemnify 1.5 million Ugandan shillings to David Kato and the members of the smug organization who decided to file a complaint. This amount represents approximately $600. On the 26th of January 2011, around 2 p.m., a few hours after David was calling his friend Julian Pepe Ozima, a member of the smug organization, a man broke into David's home in Mukono town, which led to the man hitting him twice in the head with a hammer. On the way to the ER, David Kato was pronounced dead. A week after his death, the police arrested Sidney Tsubuga Enoch, who confessed to the murder. Described as a known thief, the first alleged motive was robbery. Although in such an homophobic environment, it remains hard to believe. On the 10th of November 2011, the verdict was pronounced. Sidney Tsubuga Enoch has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. At David's funeral, family, friends, and activists were present. Some of them were wearing a t-shirt with his picture on it. During the funeral, a Christian pastor, Thomas Musoke, interrupted the ceremony by preaching against the activists who were gathering, referring to the tragic biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah. At that point, a woman grabbed the microphone to end the speech.
Nti mujja mudde eri Mukama Katonda era buli muntu yenna omukkiriza buli muntu yenna amanyi Katonda buli muntu yenna atta eri Katonda